Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Belzer was the host of a top-rated radio program right here in New York City. Most recently, he has been working in motion pictures, completing Author with Al Pacino. He is also one of the most inventive stand-up comics in the business today, and it's a pleasure to welcome Mr. Richard Belzer.
Hi. Hi. How are you? Hi. Great. You just answer me every time I talk to you, okay? Are you in a good mood? Yes. Okay, that's the end of the audience participation. Now I'm in a good mood today. I was a little depressed when I got this morning because last night I had a dry dream, but I'm over that depression. Actually, I'm still depressed because I didn't win an Oscar. I wasn't nominated, but I still didn't win. And I'm glad that Chariots of Fire won. It's a great film and a great song in that film, right? Chariots of Fire. I'm running on the beach now. They didn't have Adidas then. It's the 1920s. There's no black people running, so an English guy can win. If I hear that song once more, I'm going to smack an Englishman in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little tired of that song. But I'm also glad that Katharine Hepburn won an Oscar for trying to keep her head still for 2 hours. That was quite... Wait, now, like, moan it. First you laugh, then you moan. Like, moan at me, like I made that up. Like, she doesn't shake her head, right? I'm the guy that stands in the back of her head and does this, right? So boo me, right? Great, yeah. You gotta take Dramamine to watch that chick work. But, you know, she's a great gal, and we all love her, but, no. It's a good thing the president didn't get shot because now the Oscars are on time now. But when Reagan got shot last year, it was really heavy and serious. You know, no matter what you think of the man, you don't want him to get shot. And you realize how many people want his job. Like, as soon as Reagan got shot, the vice president was in Texas. Bush heard that Reagan got shot, and he bought a new suit because he thought he had a job. That's how sensitive he was. And Haig heard the president got shot. He called a press conference for no apparent reason. He comes out, he says, I'm in charge here. He's sweating, his tie's crooked, his hair's messed up, he wet his pants. He's in charge here. I'd rather live on the Falkland Islands than have him in charge here. That was pretty scary. And now they're trying to, like, get everybody to join the Army and the Navy and the Marines. And I was down south last week working as a waiter. No, I was down south. And they had a commercial on Southern TV for the Air Force. Like, they want to get people to join the Air Force. Now, I think the Air Force probably has enough people in it already, but they run this commercial to discourage people from joining because they had this guy on, a colonel in the Air Force. He had really short hair. His hair was so short, it looked like little barbers crawled up his nose and cut it from the inside. And he was obviously reading cue cards. He was sitting behind a desk. He looked in the cue card, and he said, "How do you do? My name is Lieutenant Gray, son. Before I joined the Air Force, I could barely read. You two can join an organization that's been in existence since World War I. So I joined the Air Force the next day, my last night on American television. But also, you see Jack Nicholson at the Oscars with the real dark glasses on, and Jack's my idol. He is one of my, I have a lot of idols, he's one of them. And we went out to eat after. I wasn't at the Oscars, but he called me up and went to Burger King. And he eats at Burger King all the time. Pull up in the limo, go to Burger King, and he orders. He goes up to the guy at Burger King and says, "I want an omelet. No potatoes. Tomatoes instead, and you can hold that big whopper between your knees, sweetheart." Thanks a lot.
Richard Belzer, you danced out here, you danced off here.
I'm a dancing fool.
You'd really rather be a rock and roll guy, wouldn't you?
Well, I tried that. When you mentioned I was on the radio before, I made a little money when you're on the radio. They pay more than 100 clear a week. And I invested all my money in a band and a studio, and that's why I'm here to ask you for a loan.
Now, what came of that? Did you have...
I have some tapes that you could hear anytime you come over to my house.
Right, it could be the same deal as Slim Whitman's company. Get in on that and...
Not quite that successful.
Mail those suckers out here.
I changed my name to Dick Whitman, but it didn't work.
Didn't work?
It was ridiculous.
You're living in Los Angeles presently?
I live out in the Hollywood place.
Yeah.
A crazy place.
You don't look like a guy...
It's nutty out there. They're fabulous people, and they're nuts.
You don't look like a guy who'd live in California. You look like a New Yorker.
I look like a limo driver, right? No, you said that to me once before, and I couldn't forget it. It was such a fabulous line. Yeah. No. Just because you look like David Hartman doesn't mean I can look like a limo driver. Which is also your line.
It was.
I just do your lines to play it safe so I'll get asked back.
Most of this stuff... No, but the Katharine Hepburn stuff wasn't my line, was
No.
it? No. Okay.
You want to clear that up in case she wants to do the show. Yeah. Just have a headrest for her. Sorry. I'm sorry I didn't know she was a guy.
Hey, we're just kidding around here.
Only Katharine, when we do that film, babe.
It's like 1:15. What the hell? We can...
Where? For Katharine, it's 1:15.
Everywhere it's 1:15.
Ooh.
Now, tell me about your movies. You're a big motion picture, a driving force in the American cinema.
Well, I did do my own stunt driving in a film that I did. No, one thing I'm very excited about is I'm doing a movie with Robert Downey, the guy that did Putney Swope and Greaser's Palace. That's one of the reasons I'm in town. And I just finished a movie with Al. Hey, really, something wrong here? There's something really, really wrong here? No, you're out of order. Your car is out of order. He does that in every movie for no apparent
Regardless,
reason.
don't make any difference.
No, it was really good to work with him because it's like a master class in acting, watching him work. He was a great actor.
Well, things are going great for you.
Well, since I was on this show last.
Let me ask you one thing. Is it true here that you roughed up Henry Winkler? Is that a possibility?
Well, there was a scene in the movie. I play a pimp and a killer. Can you say pimp on TV?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There was a scene in the movie. See, he cuts in on... I'm the heavy in the movies, we say, not literal. It's a figurative term for villain. You people in Crevice, Alabama. And that means villain. Now, I was the villain in the movie, and there's one scene where I get to smack Henry around, so the Bells beats up the Fonz.
Unbelievable.
You know.
We'll look for that.
But he's a good guy. I don't want to be derisive of Henry because he was...
I hope you come back and see us if you're ever in New York again.
Anytime you want me.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Belzer. We'll be right back with Edwin Newman. Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest tonight, Mr. Richard Belzer, has been here several times before. He is currently featured in 2 motion pictures, Author, and also Night Shift. A very talented actor and comedian. Please welcome Richard Belzer.
Hi. How you doing? Prove it. One at a time, come down here and prove it. Come on, we have an hour. Let's, Can you turn this light up a little more? Because I want to be Tron's niece in about an hour, okay, babe? I'm a little irritable, I have to admit, because I didn't get much sleep last night. I was asleep in my bed, which is a great coincidence to be asleep in your bed. This is a good place to be in. It was about 2:30 in the morning, and I sensed the presence of someone else in the room, and it actually woke me up. And I looked, and there was the Queen of England sitting at the foot of my bed. She just wanted to talk, And then she wanted a cigarette, and I said, "Babe, Your Majesty, how did you get in this building? I have great security here." So I finally got rid of her, but that's why I'm a little tired today. She was on her way to Hawaii. She's going to Hawaii to meet her son and her daughter-in-law. Is that for the law you're clapping, babe, or are you just glad to see me?
Hard to believe.
Hey. Hard to believe. All right, don't like make a hero out of the guy. He said one thing that was funny. You know. Let him come up here and do 5, then clap. Okay, babe? I'll go up there and go home with this date and then clap for me. All right? Anyway, now cut that out. No, I am going to Hawaii too. I was hoping I'd bump into the Queen again so I could break into her room, but. You know, people have these things about New York, the energy of the city, and then they say LA's laid back, and everyone has, you know, all these stories about it. But Hawaii is even further away than LA. So geographically, they're more laid back than you can imagine. And I figured out why. It's because the marijuana there is reputed to be, I don't know, you know, from experience, but from people that I know, you know, musicians and stuff like that. The marijuana there is supposed to be so strong that it's the strongest in the world, and it makes you wonder how these people can communicate, because they smoke and they try to talk. What else can you say after you smoke that stuff? And the Hawaiian alphabet only has 17 letters in it, so you know they got high and they quit. They couldn't go to 27. And every street in Hawaii has 11 Ks in it. So if you're a mainlander, or a haole, as they say, and you want directions, they say, go down to Makahene, Makaluka, Malama. I mean, can't you number the streets, babe? Come on, give me a break. You know, I don't pray to volcanoes, just tell me how to get home, okay? My hand is caught in my hair, okay? I'm okay, I go down a lot, and I'm all right. No, my hair has a mind of its own. Last night I went bowling by itself, so my pants are going down. Anyway, I put my hands in my pockets, I think because of you. You just... I usually work like this, but I see David and my watch falls off and my hands go in my pockets. He's an influence on all of us, and we're proud of it, really, in this industry of Oz. Before I go, I'd like to stay. No. Now, I was reading backstage that Bob Dylan now is releasing his bar mitzvah tapes. He's Jewish again. First he's Christian, then he's Jewish. He's like the certs of religion. Stop, you're both right. You know. But can you imagine what Bob Dylan's bar mitzvah must have sounded like? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. Melech Olam. Zum gale 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 zum. Then his voice changes, right? Lay lady lay. Where'd he get that voice? I think he got hit in the head and he watched Popeye for an hour. And lay lady lay. Have a spinach souffle. Come back tomorrow, Bob, okay? And try it again. But I have a fantasy about Dylan I'd like to share with you. I feel that no matter how old Dylan gets, he'll continue to perform. This is my image of my fantasy of the 86-year-old Bob Dylan in concert, the old Dylan. Oi, 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 oi. Once upon a time you dressed so fine, you threw the bums a dime in your prime, didn't you? People called, said you were dull, you're bound to fall. You thought they was all kidding you. Used to laugh about everybody that was hanging out. Now you don't talk so loud, Mr. Big Shot, huh? Now you don't feel so proud about having to be scrounging your next meal. Oy. How does it feel to be on your own? Oy. Just like a complete unknown. Oy. With no direction home. Oy. Just like a rolling gallstone. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Paul.
gentleman, of course, is Mr. Richard Belzer. Very funny, Richard, and thanks for being here again.
I love being here.
Well, we love having you
I'm not
here.
just saying that like, you know,
No, you don't
Sammy
have to say
Davis's
that.
nephew. You know, I mean it. I won't do this, I promise.
I noticed here in the introduction two major motion pictures you are presently in. What do you play in these? I know it's probably not the same part, is it?
No. Thanks God. Well, in one film, as we say in the business, I play a stage manager who is, I want to be delicate and I want to be respectful, who's not a heterosexual. Mm-hmm. And like Robert De Niro, I went out and I studied for the part, and so, you know, I got it down, so to speak. Then in the other film, yeah, whoa, like that's very risque, yeah. World's coming to an end, they're moaning about that joke. Okay, anyway, so the other film is Night Shift. Which I got to do things that, it's a fantasy. I got to fire a gun, I got to beat up Henry Winkler, you know. So.
Now, you've done both of those things in real life, haven't you?
Well, I once fired Henry Winkler and beat up a gun, but no.
And that's what we're going to look at here. This must be exciting. You're on a show, you got a clip.
I know, this, you know, it's like a cliche, we make fun of it, but here I am, and, you know, and you're the first person.
I'm excited to be with you on this particular night.
This is television history, in a way.
Here now, Richard Belzer. Tell us what we're going to see, Richard.
You're going to see me
in 4 seconds.
And my partner, who's a pimp. Can you say pimp on TV? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're threatening Henry because he took over our territory, and then you'll see me threaten him and then get in a gunfight. So it's fabulous. It's Hollywood. You know.
It's Richard's first clip, so pay attention, won't you?
Please.
Hi. Why did you lock the door? It's okay. Sir?
At least Franklin paid off regular for 2 years until he got stupid. You never even sent us a nickel. Not one nickel.
I don't know.
I don't know. If you came to us up front, we could have worked something out. But now it's too late. We're angry. We're insulted.
Besides, wouldn't be right to let you live after we killed Franklin. He was our friend.
I'd like to be your friend. Please, God, let me be your friend. Okay, boys, here we are. Well, that door's locked. Hey, Chuck.
In the morgue?
Hey, I know what you're thinking. Don't worry about it. It really won't bother you if you just don't think about all those dead people.
Hey, what's going on? Excuse me. You guys are police? How could they be cops? I should have asked for an ice.
Richard Belzer's first clip. We'll be right back to continue talking with Mr. Belzer. We're going away for a minute or two. Thank you very much. Paul Shaffer and the band. Welcome back to the show. Jessica Savage will be joining us, and also legendary jazz great Toots Thielmans, is here. And Mr. Richard Belzer. Now, you have a big television special you'd like to tell us about. And then
Well, I want to invite you to
I'd like to be there.
Okay, well, I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
And it's the 10th anniversary of Catch a Rising Star, which is where I started. And
A club here in New York.
Yes, in New York City. And it's 10 years in existence, and we're doing a special, the 10th anniversary, which I'm hosting, and Robin Williams is going to be there, and David Brenner, and Pat Benatar, and forgive me if I don't, remember everyone who's going to be on the show. Marlon, Jack. But, you know, no, but the other people I mentioned are going to be. And it's exciting because I started right around the time the club opened, and I'll probably finish right around the time the club closes.
And this will be on, this is...
I want to invite Mitzi and Bud to that, too, by the way. That's a comedy team.
Yeah. And this will be on American television?
To my knowledge.
Yeah, okay. And
Can I say the...
Sure, go ahead. Say
HBO.
anything. HBO.
HBO.
In the fall.
It'll be on in October,
Okay.
and then they'll play it 8,000 times.
Morning, noon, and night. Good opportunity to memorize the dialogue as you watch.
Yeah. So if it's good, we're in business. You know.
Well, I'm sure it'll be fun.
I know it will be.
Thanks for being here. You can come back anytime because you dance on. I wish more of our guests would dance on.
Well,
I like that.
Maybe I can be the choreographer on the show.
All right,
Choreographer.
Well, choreographer.
Maybe I
We'll
can
talk
get
later.
speech lessons.
You want to see? Maybe could you dance off? Would that be possible?
For you?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Richard Belzer, ladies and gentlemen. We get Toots Thielmans to dance out here. We really got something. My next guest is a very talented actor and comedian. He will be appearing in Robert Downey's new film, Baldy Legs, and he will be working here in New York City at a place called Caroline's in the beginning of March. Please welcome Mr. Richard Belzer.
Ooh, they're so good. Hi. How are you? You all in a good mood? Prove it. I guess that proves it. Now, I'm in a good mood tonight. I'm very honored to be here with Henry Thomas, who is a great actor for his height. And, but E.T. stretched my credibility a little bit when he opened the door and he saw that turtle without a shell in his yard, and then he invites him in, and like I'd really want a slug in my house. You know what I'm saying? A giant slug in the living room would be very nice. Speaking of illegal aliens, Gandhi was a great film, wasn't it? There was a great guy. He was a great-looking guy, wasn't he? He was a fabulous dresser, and he had a great diet, 3 bullets in the morning, and your appetite shot for the whole day. So, I'm sorry, I'm the guy that shot him, boo me. But you know, I saw Meryl Streep, she's doing the news show over there. I think Meryl Streep is a very disturbed woman. I'm a little bit worried about her because every time she's in a movie, she cannot hold down a decent relationship. She lost the custody of her child to Dustin Hoffman in Kramer vs. Kramer, and he was so traumatized by that that he became a woman. I mean, the poor guy. And then she was with the French lieutenant's woman. She was with the French lieutenant's woman. She wasn't with the French lieutenant. I don't know if you saw the sequel to that. No. When she was with the French lieutenant's woman, she broke her heart, and she was with him once. So that was a really successful relationship. And then in Sophie's Choice, great choice, she got shot. So this chick is in trouble, I think. I don't know. And Paul Newman, I read, see, I don't mean to poo-poo the Oscars. Is that what I'm doing? I'm poo-pooing them before they're even announced. But Paul Newman, a friend of mine, worked on The Verdict. And I don't mean to, like, rain on anybody's parade or anything, but Paul Newman is really 5'3". He is. He stands on boxes, the other actors stand in ditches. He doesn't have blue eyes, those are contact lenses, and the biggest heartbreaker of all is they had a stunt drinker in The Verdict. And that just depressed me to no end. But our president's a great actor. Rapid Ron, he's a good actor. He should get an Academy Award for money. Just the most money for a president. And he nominated Watt to be his secretary. Watt is my new idol. Yes, you can hiss, or is your face leaking? Whatever it is, you can do that, because I think he was a little out of line putting the Indians down. I mean, he did buffalo them pretty badly, don't you think? I mean, the Indians are the fairest people that ever lived, because anytime the Indians ever captured a white settler in a Hollywood film, they always gave the settler a test. You pass the test, you go free. You remember that? We tie boulder to private parts. You swim river, you go free. Hey, why don't you tie a mountain to my ass, too, okay, Chief? I mean, if we're going to do the river premise, let's go the whole route, okay, babe? White men speak with forked tongue. Well, you cut the thing. What do you expect me to speak like? Say, what's going on here? This is Walter Cronkite. I just had 10 drinks. Dan Rather's a homo sapien. I'm back, and that's the way it is. Walter wants his old job back. Walter was on the news for 20 years, and then he retired, and they gave him his own show, Walter Cronkite's Universe. They gave him the universe. What an agent. What a deal. But then that was canceled. The universe was canceled. Does that mean we cease to exist, or? I guess not. Anyway. But then, no, Walter Cronkite's Universe gave you very useful facts that you use in everyday life, like the humpback whale can hump and drive a Buick at the same time. Thank you, Walter. That'll help me pay the rent. And poor David Brinkley's, David Brinkley's on ABC now. He's on NBC for many years. He tried to quit his job at NBC for 10 years, but nobody can understand him. Like Brinkley would go to work every day and he'd say, I went. I said, what? I went. What? I hate my job, and I went. What? I went. Gesundheit. And they finally figured it out. Thanks a lot. Have a good night. Take care.
Thank you, Richard. We'll be right back, folks. Thank you, Paul. We're done. I want to thank everybody who was here tonight. Mr. Henry Thomas, also Garrison Keillor, Richard Belzer. And the movie, is it going to be a good movie?
It's going to be, well, I'm great.
Okay,
no,
good
it's
enough.
going to be a good movie.
Baldy Legs?
Baldy Legs, Robert Downey, Zach Norman, Tammy Grimes, Michael J. Pollard, Richard Belzer, and David Letterman will be in the audience the opening night.
The Counties of Montana. Also, I'd like to thank Bill Wendell, Paul Shaffer and the band, and, of course, the studio audience. Tomorrow night, Chaz Chase. You saw him the first time. You'll love him the second time. Jim Palmer will be here, and A. Whitney Brown. Have a good night. Thank you, folks. It's a pleasure to welcome my next guest back to this program. He's a very funny gentleman and will be appearing next week right here in New York City at Caroline's. He is also soon to be the host of a program on Lifetime Cable called Hot Properties. Please welcome Richard Belzer.
So, how about a hand for the band, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you. It's good to be back in New York. I know everyone says that, but I'm saying it again, so what are you going to do? No. You all in a good mood? Yeah. Prove it. Prove it. Can you make these lights a little brighter? Because I want to land a toy plane in here, and I don't want to have any problem with that. I know a lot of comics talk about the difference between New York and L.A., but I legitimately, whatever that means, I live in both places. I'm bi-coastal. To borrow a phrase from Peter Allen, who is bi-coastal. And there's a lot of differences between the two, but the most marked difference that no one ever mentions is the New York police and the LA police are totally antithetical to each other. The LAPD are very strict. None of them are from LA. They're usually recruited from Crevice, Georgia or something and brought up there. New York cops are the greatest. You could be driving down the street in New York with a beer between your legs, your seatbelt hanging out your door, go through 5 red lights. New York cop will go, give me a coffee on the way back. LA cops, totally different. All right, pull over, your left speaker's out. Pull over. You don't have Dolby? Spread them. A little stricter out there. Okay, that's my, my LA, New York joke. But you know, a couple days from now, it's going to be Valentine's Day, and I just want to say, Paul, To all the girls who I took $10 from their purse before. Who is this guy? Julio. Parts his hair from Cleveland. He's not a citizen of this country. Doesn't speak English. Why is he such a big star? Why does he sell so many records? It's amazing. So all the overweight, middle-class women with a few dollars who buy my album and think I might even remotely touch them before. Yeah, I'll be out at your concert, Julio, next week, babe. Yeah. And he cons Willie Nelson into doing this sexist record that all these women really went in and out of their house. Like, if I was a woman, I'd really want to go out with a guy with braids and a bandana and a guy without a green card. Yeah, I'll be right over, guys. Yeah. Willie, you gonna have the braids, Willie? I'll be there, babe. To all the girls I milk cows with before. Yeah, very, very sexy guy. But to all the people who don't know, I'm doing Charles Aznavour before. And he has an exercise tape, Julio Iglesias. Everybody does that now. And my favorite exercise tape, it just came out last week, is the Keith Richards exercise tape. And on the way up here in the elevator, I broke Prince's bodyguard's arm. So if anybody's worried about him, he's at St. Crevis Hospital. And no, but very few people know that there's a Jewish Prince touring the country now. Let's go crazy. Let's get nuts. Let's go. But things and vine your bones off the wall. Let's go crazy. This is what it sounds like when Jews cry. Thank you, Paul. You know, the shave, the barometer of hip in America, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Shaffer. Bruce Springsteen hailing a cab. Whoa! Bob Dylan hailing a cab. Bob Dylan. Whoa, 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 whoa. Thank you. Calm down. This is David Byrne of Talking Heads, Waiting for a Bus. Is this the number 5 bus? Is this the number 5 bus? 5. How do I work this? Thank you. I think David Byrne's doing a Ronald Reagan impression. Just everything is shaking. So Reagan's president again. The joke's over. It was funny for 4 years. He's president again, okay? It's not so funny anymore, is it? I'm starting to worry about the president now because he can't hold his head still anymore. And I'm going to get a picture of Reagan, put it in the back of my car. So when you... This guy really is... The thing that really upsets me about Reagan is that he's always laughing at something, and we're not in on it. Like, he just told himself a joke, but we're not in on it, ladies and gentlemen. No. He comes out laughing. It's like, I what? I Coke is good for Chrysler. Ayatollah's in trouble. What, then? I've been working on the railroad. What, Ron? What? And Nancy's pulling the string at the back of his head. Figure that one out. We're doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can. Nancy looks like she has toys in the attic and they're all broken now. She just stands there staring out. And That's our first family. But they didn't give us much of a choice, I have to admit. I mean, Fritz Charisma Mondale wasn't exactly... Great speaker, Fritz, though. I know that if the voters of this country... Babe, if we could hear you, we might, like, vote for you. You know what I'm saying? I know that the vote... What? I know... You know what, babe? I know... Yeah, okay. Fritz, if he was president of the United States, if we elected him, it would be so boring. After 2 years of a Mondale presidency, the whole country would fall asleep. The Russians would tiptoe in, unplug everything, and say, "Surprise!" You're a great audience. Thank you.
Richard, nice to see you again.
Nice to
It's been
see
a
you.
long time since you were here. Everything going well for you?
Everything's going quite well, and,
Yeah?
and I'm glad I'm here at this time because I want to enlist your aid in something. I need your
Well, I'll
help.
be happy to help if I can.
I appreciate it. I want to get together all our friends, all the comedians, even the ones that we don't know. I mean, we both know a lot of people. You and me, we get Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Robin Williams, you know, all the guys. And I want to go and take everyone. I want to go into a studio. I want to do an album. And I want to donate the proceeds of the album to Joanna Carson because
I think that's...
the woman has a lifestyle, David. She has a lifestyle to maintain,
Yeah.
and I think, you know,
That's a wonderful thing, Richard.
well, if we get enough people together, we might be able to make her meet her monthly nut, as we say.
What was she looking for? She's getting 44 grand a month, and she's looking for 50, right?
Yeah, she's looking for 54 and
Yeah.
change. You know.
Now, I noticed you're doing a lot more impressions than the last time I saw
Well,
you.
here, yeah. Here, I'm doing Slim Whitman. Well, I always did impressions, but I didn't want to do them on this show because this show is so hip and intellectual.
Oh,
that-
no, it's
I'm just
not.
teasing.
No, it's not.
I know. I know it's not.
Yeah.
I know it's not. I said that already.
Yeah.
No, I'm in a great mood. I got married Saturday.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What happened to impressions in your act? It says impressions in your act now. What was it?
Well, I do Monet and Van Gogh, and I do those guys.
So number 2 is out.
Yeah, number 2 is out.
Oh, okay. I'm
Well-
sorry. Damn. All right, number 2.
Well, we're nightclub comics, so we can, you know, switch around,
yeah.
switch
All
premises.
right, so now we go up to number 3.
Well, that's 2A is the marriage. I want to say hello to my wife, Harley. Hi, honey.
Your wife's name is Harley?
Harley McBride, yes.
That's a
She was my future ex-fiancée, and then and we got married, so I can't do that joke anymore.
And you got a show coming
I
up?
got a show
Hot
coming
Properties?
up. Monday it starts on Hot Properties.
Well, good luck. Good luck.
And maybe you'll come on the show. And
I don't think
plug
there's a
this
chance in hell, Richard.
I admire your frankness.
We'll be right back, folks. Richard Belzer will be appearing at the Birmingham Comedy Club at the end of this week. Richard, good luck.
Thank you, David.
Thanks for being here.
Okay.
Dr. Richard Brandt, we will have on as soon as we possibly can. I'm sorry we ran out of time for him, and my thanks to Jane Badler. Tomorrow night, model Paulina Poroskova and Tom Savini, and we're still looking for a really big star. Good night. Our next guest will soon be seen on an episode of Miami Vice and will also be appearing in person here in Manhattan at Caroline's on April 29th through May 4th. Please say hello to Richard Belzer.
La Belle Dodge. Thank you, Paul Shaffer. How about another hand for Paul Shaffer, ladies and gentlemen? How are you all? I'm in a good mood tonight. You in a good mood? Now, relax. I didn't ask if you were psychopathic. I just want to know if you're in a good mood. Well, the Oscars are Monday night. Are you all excited about that? Yeah, sure. Anyway, I think President Reagan should get an Oscar. Don't you think the man should get an Oscar? I mean, after all, he's not really the president. He's an actor. You know, he's playing the president. He's like the guest host to the country. You know, it's like... Imagine what it would have been like, though, if he really was nominated during his career. I know that's hard to imagine, but try with me to imagine if during his career he had been nominated and he didn't win. What do you think he would have said about the members of the Academy? He would have said, it's sunny and you're rich about them. That's what he said. But I don't want the Oscars to be boring. I hate boring Oscars. I like when something happens, when there's an event, when it's, like, controversial or something happens. Like, remember when there was a streaker one year? A nude guy ran across the stage, and one year, Sacheen Littlefeather accepted the Oscar for Brando. Her career is skyrocketing. She's on the road now doing Chermania, so that's helped her a lot. I mean, we want Sally Field to make a fool out of herself, don't we? I mean, we want her to say, you like me, you like me. I mean, that's the fun of the Oscars. I think we should start off the Oscars this year by saying, we changed our mind, we don't like you, okay, babe? Thank you. Play one more hick farm woman and we'll put you on the cast of Hee Haw, okay, Sally? Good. And she redeemed herself a little bit by appearing on the cover of Playboy magazine. Did you see that when she was on the cover of Playboy magazine? What do you think her thinking was that day? Let's see, get up, have breakfast, set the woman's movement back 1,000 years. Yeah, way to go, Sally. But Playboy is a great magazine. They have a wonderful philosophy, great philosophy, the Playboy philosophy. It's okay to masturbate as long as you read an article by Norman Mailer afterwards. You know, it's really an important philosophy. And the big controversy this year is Steven Spielberg, poor Steven Spielberg, he didn't get nominated. That's the kind of country we live in. There's people starving. We feel sorry for a guy with $150 trillion. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you just buy an Oscar, you know? That's not to me, the real controversy this year, though, is Sylvester Stallone. I mean, what does Stallone have to do to get nominated? Act? I mean, come on. And what about Meryl Streep? Has she been nominated enough, ladies and gentlemen? Has Meryl Streep been nominated enough, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, come on. She's a great actress, but enough is enough. Give her a permanent Oscar, pass some legislation. Now, leave me alone with this chick. Now, everybody resents Meryl Streep because she's so perfect. You know, she's perfect. And she's a perfect woman. But, you know, it's like she never had a big tumble. She never had a big obstacle to come over. Like, you know, Sally Field with the Flying Nun, and Jessica Lange with King Kong, and Pia Zadora with Pia Zadora. These are huge obstacles, ladies and gentlemen. I really think that Meryl Streep should do something, a project where she looks really dumb. You know, it's like she should do a movie like the Nell Carter Story. You know what I'm saying? Just something like that. And it's a stretch for her. She could do the makeup thing and have the hair, and it should be great, yeah. Anyway, Jessica Lange is nominated. I think that is pushing it a little bit too far. Jessica Lange has slept with Mikhail Baryshnikov, Sam Shepard, and she wants Oscars too? Now, how about a Nobel Peace Prize? You know, I want to sleep with those guys, you know? Not a Peace Prize, a Peace Prize. It's a different, it's a different thing. See, you thought I did a thing, but no, it's a Peace Prize, ladies and gentlemen. So don't push me on that, because I'm a nice guy. But, thank you for clapping for speech impediments. You're a very warm and wonderful crowd. But, of course, Geraldine Page will win because nobody saw her movie. What was it? The Acid Trip to Bonneville? What was that movie? Bonneville? Or... I don't know. But I think that I think Whoopi Goldberg should win the nomination, the Oscar. Don't you think? Whoopi Goldberg? Because we should encourage the black Jews in our business, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, where's the young black Jew turn for role models? After Sammy Davis Jr., where do they go? You know what I'm saying? Where do they go? I'm asking you. I expect an answer. Just kidding. It's a rhetorical thing. Jack Nicholson is nominated. Of course, he'll win because he's, you know... You like Jack? Yeah! Jack is great. Jack Nicholson is a great actor, and I just read an article today that he's doing a movie where he plays the devil. So I think that would be easy for him to play the devil. I think... No, it would, wouldn't it? I mean, you could picture him as the devil. I think he should stretch a little bit, because they're also making a film, The Last Temptation of Christ. And I like to see Jack Nicholson in the title role of Christ. And... Here's Jesus. Thanks a lot.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, I think you're terrific in the Pat Benatar video.
You.
That's an interesting approach, isn't it?
Yeah, she was very generous to let me
it comes off very well.
do all I did.
And you got an HBO deal.
Yes, April 5th.
April 5th,
I taped it at the bottom line.
Don't you think that cable is just about at the end?
Except for live performances, I agree.
And it's you in concert, more or less, at the bottom line?
Yes, I did my act, and there were cameras there, and they caught me on a good night. So
pleased with it.
I feel real good about it.
Okay.
And I'll be seeing you at...
all the old familiar places.
Comic Relief. Aren't you doing Comic Relief?
Paul and I and Chris Elliott will be doing a little something. We have to pause here again. We'll be right back, kids. No, we're just going to score it on time. I guarantee you we have more fun here during the commercials than you do at home. It's too bad, but that's the way it is. Have a good weekend, folks. Richard, thank you for being here.
David.
We'll see you Monday night. Thanks, folks. Good night. Very funny gentleman who has been performing this week at the yearly Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the program, Richard Belzer.
Thank you. How you doing? All right. The world's most dangerous band. I'm in a good mood tonight. I'm very happy. The Stones are going back on tour. They all have to get in shape. Keith is jealous of Mick because Mick runs in the park for 8 hours a day, so Keith now has his own exercise video. Keith Richards Aerobics. I'm in good shape, too, because I work out to it. You can tell, right? I'll give you a little demo. Keith Richards Aerobics. Two. I live in L.A. now. I used to live in New York. Anybody here from L.A. because I need a ride back? Thank you so much. I'll give you a quarter for gas. That's a radical adjustment, moving from New York to L.A. It's like going from Earth to the planet O. Because L.A. is a totally different place. The most radical adjustment, though, is the LAPD are totally different than the NYPD. New York cops, LA cops are totally different. For some reason in LA, they're totally obsessed with traffic. That's the most important thing on their mind. Traffic, traffic, traffic. New York cops don't care about traffic. It's the last thing on their mind. You could be driving down the street in New York with a beer between your legs, seatbelt flapping out the door, go through 5 red lights, 80 miles an hour. New York cop would go, "Give me coffee on the way back." The other day, I got pulled over in Beverly Hills. I said, "What is it, officer?" He said, "You left speakers out." You don't have Dolby? Spread them! Sorry, officer. Well, Reagan lives in California now. I live in... They'll let anybody in that state. I don't care what anybody says. I miss Ronald Reagan. He wrote my material for 8 years. He was great on the All-Star game. And what a home run that was. What is that, 3 points for a home run now? Or... Yeah, great. Now, of course, we have George Bush as their president with that voice, that whiny... He's like a Black & Decker power tool, this guy. George, what a great name. Isn't that an inspiring name? Bush. It's not like Lincoln, Jefferson, Washington. Bush. And the press has a great time with his name. Like, anytime Bush tries to do something, the press always jump on. Like, he submitted his budget. The press said, "Bush was trimmed today." Bush went out on a limb today. Bush was burning, but it wasn't God's voice coming out. It was... But whatever you think of George Bush, and as you may have guessed by some wild intuition, I'm not a religious person, but I do pray every day that George Bush is all right. I hope that he doesn't get a hangnail or hit by a car or some midget doesn't assassinate him. I'm not slamming the midgets, just think of a radical thing. But the thing about George Bush is that he has Dan Quayle in the wings, and that's kind of disconcerting, because the other day, I don't know if you saw this in the paper, he was standing in Central America, Dan,
and he had a Russian grenade launcher pointed backwards at himself. Yeah. And he has that look. You know, the quail has this look. It's this strange look. I figured out what it is. It's like, you know, you're driving down a country road at night and a deer runs out and the headlights hit the deer in the eyes. And the deer goes... It said, hey, I'm really stupid, don't run me over. You know that look? That's the vice presidential gaze, ladies and gentlemen. And we're supposed to sleep at night without medication. I don't understand it, but don't go by me. Well, Elvis called me up again today. Elvis will not leave me alone. He calls me up almost every day. Bells? Yeah, Elvis, what is it? You know. Yeah, Bells, what should I do? Should I shave my beard? Should I lose weight? Should I come back? Elvis, I have my own life. You know what I'm saying? The most amazing thing to me about Elvis now is that I wrote this book a while back called The Bible. No, I wrote a book about comedy. Somehow Elvis got the book. They gave it to him when he got some fries at Burger King, and now he wants to be a stand-up comic. He wants to, well, to make a long story short, Elvis will be opening for me in the fall on a tour. And imagine Elvis Presley as a stand-up comic. He's Elvis, so he doesn't actually have to do punchlines. He just does a setup to a joke. It's like, well, thank you very much, ladies. Thank you. Two Jews walking on a bar. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know what commercial I hate? Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you. I'd like to do my impression of Jack Nicholson for you. Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you. Elvis, of course, he doesn't have to do the impression because he's Elvis. But the thing that amazed me about Elvis is the fact that in 1956, if you recall, if you were alive, I know Paul and David were alive in '56, but Elvis was drafted in the Army. He was stationed in West Germany. He met a 13-year-old girl whose father was a major in the Air Force, and somehow he convinced her father to let her move back to the United States with him, then he'd marry her when she was 21. How many guys could have made that phone call? I think it's safe to say only Elvis could have made that call. Hello, Major? Yeah, I met your daughter Priscilla. She's a very lovely, very beautiful, very wonderful little girl. Yeah, I want her to move back to Graceland with me. My daddy will be there, have a chaperone, and won't touch her. Won't lay a hand on her or anything. And when she's 21 years old, I'll marry her. Yeah, put $50 million in your bank account. Thank you very much. The Elvis Man, thank you. You're a great audience. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Richard, nice to see you again. Nice job. Very funny. You're up there in Montreal. You're going back tonight.
The International Festival. Comedians
what
from
is
all...
that exactly?
Well, it's comedians from 15 countries.
Do we need that?
Well, some of them we don't need. I'm glad you asked. There's just one quick thing I want to say, though.
Sure.
For some reason, comedians from other countries, they all walk the same. They think that this is funny. Can I get up here? They all come out and do these little things and have like big outfits on and like that.
That's it. And they kill with that. Have a good weekend, folks. Good night, everybody. You know, Paul, when Robin Leach is talking about having trouble finding gas at 3 in the morning in France, if this were a different show and I were a younger man, I would have done this. Oh, I got gas. There's your gas. But that ain't the way we work here.
Oh, it's a good thing, too.
Our next guest is a very talented comedian who will be performing on January 17th and 18th at Topper's Comedy Club in Brooklyn. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Richard Belzer. Richard! Sheena plays Aldonzo. There you go. Now we know what Sheena Easton plays.
Al Damsel. I did a show with him in 1948. He was a foreign comedian.
How you doing?
Good. How are you? Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you again. Thank you very much for
Nice
joining.
tie. They couldn't guess your weight.
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. Throw him out. We'll start it out.
Thank you. I couldn't resist. It's been so long. I had to slam the tie.
Let's see. What about George Bush? Collapsed in Japan at a big state dinner over there.
Well, you know
He's
why?
okay, though.
Yeah, you know why he collapsed? Because they gave him the check, he threw up and passed out. I mean, how many
That was
people
it.
haven't done that? I mean, I've done that. Matter of fact, I threw up my dressing room. I didn't even get a check. But, you know, the Secret Service is supposed to keep Quayle in a headlock till Bush is better. Just it's a little thing.
Just so he doesn't go nuts and do odd things.
Give him some noogies and, you know.
What's new in your life since we last saw you? What have you been up to? What are you interested in? What's going on? Just talk about things.
Well, I'm kind of distressed by these American executives that make billions of dollars, or say millions. I'm exaggerating. Forgive me. They make millions of that thing is smoking. Millions of dollars.
What is that?
Does he have a hot plate
Oh my
there,
God, he's
or?
right. This cup of coffee is smoking. Unbelievable. Please, somebody smother this with a blanket. We haven't had hot coffee in this building since the turn of the century.
Get the Secret Service to dive on that.
Excellent piece of detective work, Richard. Thank you.
Well, I have an agency on the side, but that's another show.
Okay, so guys, businessmen making
So
huge...
these guys make $3, $4, $5 million a year. Then they fire 70,000 people, and they go over and they cry to the Japanese to, like, give us a break. You know, it's like, why don't they just make better cars instead of crying? Another thing that interests me is that they say, you know, Japanese don't buy our cars. Well, guess what? They drive on the other side of the street. Maybe if we put the steering wheel in, maybe they'd buy a few.
Make a little modification.
Yeah, just put it where they drive, you know, that kind of stuff. And the thing is that the executives that go there and they beg and they cry. Now, my nightmare is this. The Japanese, they make better cars than we do. Let's face it. You know, we Americans, we're not dumb. We're very ingenious. We invented the car. And the Japanese take the things we invent and they go, thank you very much. We take car, make it better, charge you more. It's like, all those racial stereotypes are coming out now. It's like we invent everything, they take it, make it better, and sell it back to us, and we're screwed.
Yeah, well, have you ever been to Japan?
Not to my knowledge.
Would you like to go over there?
Not at gunpoint.
No, but really...
I'm not into the raw fish thing.
Yeah.
You know what they're into now in Japan, if I may?
Sure.
They eat live lobsters now. And they say they like to eat them because they like to feel the resistance when they're eating it. So,
really?
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow.
How many people saw that on 60 Minutes? How many saw it on 59 Minutes? Well, anyway, they're into eating live things, and they like to feel the resistance in their mouth.
But you know, a lobster, as you're, well, I just, you know, think about the damage to your ears. The
screaming.
Around,
they do scream.
Fairly ugly. And what brings you to New York? Obviously, you're on the show. You have the gig in Brooklyn and so forth.
Yeah, well, I have to go to the doctor in New York. I live in L.A. now, which is kind of, I don't want to go to the doctor in L.A. because the doctors in L.A. advertise Painless Parker. You know, you want to go to a guy that, you know, doesn't have a first name. But I'm here because it's weird because living in L.A. and then you come back to New York, it's much different. When I drive in L.A., it's totally different than driving in New York, as you know. When I drive in L.A., I drive with a video camera on my shoulder in case I get pulled over by the LAPD. Yes, officer, what is it? Just right in the lens. You want to give me a ticket? Fine, just don't beat the hell out of me for no reason. Thanks. The Rodney King Foundation. But, no, I mean, I got pulled over the other day in Beverly Hills. I said, what is this, officer? He said, your left speaker's out. I mean, they're pushing the traffic thing a little far.
Your left speaker was actually out.
And they, you know, gave me a summons. But I'm here in New York to go to the, I have to, for some reason, I got a lump in my arm. I don't know why. So I'm a little worried.
You have an arm lump.
I have an arm lump. So I have doctors in New York that I've gone to since 1905. And so I come back to New York for my medical relief. The thing is, I said, well, come on in, Rich. We'll give you a complete physical. Now, do you ever notice, no matter what's wrong with a person, they give you a complete physical. Say like you hurt your shoulder. They have to grab you between your legs and say cough because your shoulder's bothering you. And I want to know what they're looking for. Oh, you got night blindness, huh? Oh, you got a tennis elbow? Trick knee, huh? You know, what are they looking this for?
A doctor's appointment or a bachelor party?
Yeah,
what exactly
now,
is
for the gals out there that don't know what I'm talking about, when men go for complete physical, it's different than women. When men go, they don't put their feet in stirrups. They don't play country and western music.
Well, speak for yourself.
I may be out of line there, but... And then the doctors have the audacity to put a plastic glove on. They grease up their finger and they say, bend over. I go, whoa, doc, I'm paying for the visit, right? Here's $20 extra. Unless you're going to wash dishes, take the glove off now, okay?
Put them into place. Sure, absolutely. Now, the big gig in Brooklyn begins...
January 17th.
January 17th. Oh, that's next week, isn't it?
Yes.
You have a nice New Year's?
I did have a good New Year's.
Everything good?
The thing that was good about New Year's was on the radio they interviewed in L.A., they interviewed every candidate for the Democratic Party. Mo, Larry, Curly, Zeppo, Gummo, all these guys.
And you get to listen to that on the radio?
Well, I'm a big radio buff, pardon the expression.
A maven. All right, Richard, thank you very much for joining us here.
Nice to see you, David.
Happy New Year. Have a great 92, and we'll see you soon. Richard Belzer, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. Bash and Pop, what do you think?
Right, they bashed.
Peppy? Good? Loud. Loud. Those boys were loud.
I want to just congratulate them on the way they conducted themselves. They're really well-behaved young gentlemen.
And loud. We enjoyed that.
They bashed.
Yes, sir. Our next guest is a well-known comedian. You've known this man and his work for years and years, and he has recently ventured into the world of dramatic acting and has a television program right here on NBC entitled Homicide, Life on the Street. It's on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Richard Belzer. Richard. Yes, sir. Good to see you, Richard.
Nice to see you, David.
Congratulations on the show. I saw the first one, I guess, was on right after the Super Bowl, wasn't it?
Yes.
Very entertaining. I thought you do a great job.
Thank you, David. The thing is that after the Super Bowl, we got 42 million viewers.
All right.
The next week, Oprah and Michael decided to do their thing.
So that was a huge television event.
Incredible. 90 million viewers. The week after that, President Clinton does a little thing right opposite us. The week after that...
You mean the inauguration?
No, his speech, his economic message.
State of the Union, yeah.
Right. Week after that, a little thing called the Grammys was on. A week after that, a little thing called the Comedy Awards was on. And aside from that, we're on against the #1 show.
Yeah.
So do you know anything about NBC and how they program their shows? And can you give me some advice? I mean, it's a great show, but it's like buried in a bad time
What you need,
slot.
well, I'll tell you how they do it. They got themselves one of those magic 8 balls. But it is Barry Levinson, who is terrific. I've known him for a long, long time. Here's a very smart guy, very funny guy,
right.
and I envy you the chance to work with him on a regular basis.
He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
The show's been great. And we're just hoping to get an amenable time hour.
Do we have a clip of the man's television program?
Glad you mentioned that.
We have some videotape here, film on videotape of the show. What are we going to see,
This
Richard?
is the one where I go to a German bar, pardon the expression, and because I wouldn't in real life go in a German bar. Hi, I'll have a beer. Anyway, and we're interrogating this.
Very good.
Thank you. I'm a dramatic actor. Hey, I'm a dramatic actor now.
Man, you can't write that kind of comedy, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank God.
A German bar yet.
Now, I'm a dramatic actor now. I don't have to do comedy, David. All right. Thank you. Now, so we're going to interrogate this guy about a murder.
You and Ned Beatty.
Ned Beatty, my partner, Stanley Bolander.
And your character is kind of a guy who's been on the force quite a while.
Yes, this show plays to my strengths: cynicism and crime fighting. So they got my two best
I
things.
knew you were a crime fighter. I didn't realize you were a cynic.
Yeah.
Here it is, Richard Belzer, Ned Beatty, and Homicide, Life on the Street. Is that the... I hope things work out well for you because you're great in the show, and I think it has a very interesting feel and a nice look to it, that program.
We're very proud of it.
What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about the Clinton administration. The first, we're breathing down on 100 days. I guess it's in the mid-60s now. They've been in office.
Well, here's the thing. You remember how we used to worry if something happened to George Bush, Dan Quayle would become the president of the United States?
That's right. It was an ongoing fear.
Right. Now we have to worry if something happens to Hillary, Bill will become the president of the United States. And that's what keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
But, you know, Clinton must love having Perot buy time on TV and, like, heckle him. You know, he's a professional heckler. The thing that really disturbs me about Perot is that he goes on TV and he actually has the nerve to say, "Oh, okay, here's the deal. Say, I got $3 billion. Send me 15." Now, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let's back up a second. You have $15. I have $3 billion, and you're going to send me the money. So it's like, I think if he sent everybody in the United States $15, he'd still have $500 million left. So I'm just saying an open letter to Perot. If you want me to join...
that Perot is now actively campaigning. It's like the man is under the impression that we hold these elections every November. And he's just getting a jump start on next November.
And, you know, he's got all these great ideas. You know, well, here's the deal. So you get a bunch of experts, put them in a room, lock the door, and don't let them out till the problem's solved. Well, that gets down to the specifics, doesn't it? That's a great solution.
Yeah. Did you, have you met anybody did you go there for the inauguration? Do you have any friends high up in the party?
Well, I do have friends in the government, but I don't like to go to those things because then what if you like the person? Then you can't slam them.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, there are more ex-presidents alive now than ever before.
How many do we have? We have Nixon. We have
Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan,
Truman.
Bush.
Is Truman still with us? Truman, are you sure?
Well, I don't know. Somebody did see him walking down the streets the other day. Yeah, Bush, Larry, Moe. You know, I mean, but you know, Nixon's still around. Will somebody drive a stake in this guy's heart? No. I mean, come on. I mean, just when you thought it was safe to turn on the TV, there he is, warning us. And...
Let me ask you a question, Richard. What would it be like if Richard Nixon walked into a German bar? I'll let you just go crazy with that.
Let me think.
All right.
Give me a minute.
Well, give him a second. We'll do a commercial. We'll be back here with Ladies and gentlemen, we've had way too much fun here tonight. Richard, good to see you.
Hi, old Dave.
Yeah. Now listen, come back again, all right? Before we leave, before we go to the other place. You can come with us to the other place, but I'd like to have you back and we'll chat some more.
My pleasure.
Good luck with the show. Good luck with everything in your life. My thanks to Bash and Pop. Will someone get the phone? And also Kathy Lee Gifford. Have a great weekend. Good night, everybody. Okay, all right. So, anyway, whatever Paul said, and plus, she's here tonight as a solo artist, and she has a new CD entitled Schizophonic. Here's Geri Halliwell. Geri, cute, huh? Is she nice? She came running out here and just put her legs up on the chair and made herself at home.
She's doing a yoga kind of
thing.
thing.
It was cute, wasn't it?
Yeah,
nice,
yeah, she's great.
Fine. And she used to be out here to sing something from the LP.
Looking forward to that.
LP. What's the matter with me?
Yeah.
How old am I? An
Right.
LP. Yeah, got a new 78 out. You know, our next guest is one of the stars of the long-running television series Homicide, Life on the Streets. He's also the author of this new book entitled UFOs, JFK, and Elvis. Here's Richard Belzer. Richard. Yes, sirree. Welcome. Ah, look out. Here we go.
I had it. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Bottom of my shoes are very entropic, but...
That's right. That ain't how you win. I'm sorry.
Entropic.
No, that's
Entropic.
doesn't make any difference.
All right.
You ain't going to win the $300 damn.
I was so clever in the dressing room, and I just pronounced the word, but you know...
Tell us about yourself. Things are pretty good for your life now. Now your show, the Homicide,
Yes.
now that's going away, but But you get to come back on a different show.
Yes, my character, John Munch from Homicide, is moving to New York City, becoming a New York City police.
Now, how did that happen? Because when a show goes away,
right,
they don't usually give people, oh, and by the way, let's do something nice for Richard Belzer.
I know.
They don't usually work that way.
Not in my experience.
But they must love you. They must love the part.
Well, I'm very flattered by that. And it was pretty hard to work it out, but they figured it out for a change. The networks were lucid. And
wait a minute. This is not the NBC I remember.
Well, I said, finally. No, there are some people up there that appear to know what they're doing, and those are the ones
oh, come on.
Those are the ones I deal with.
Come on, you got the job. Stop it.
They can kiss my ass, Dave.
There you go. Now we're getting.
I don't need them anymore. They're NBC.
And the show Homicide was on for how many years?
7 years.
7 years, and it started out on what night, and then it went to...
I know. It was like we were on opposite a very hot sitcom, and then we were on opposite the Michael Jackson interview.
Right.
And then we were on...
The Michael Jackson interview.
Yeah, with Oprah, remember that?
Oh, yeah, Oprah. Oh,
yeah, it was a big event.
I love Oprah.
Oh, yeah, I'm a big fan of Oprah. Oprah for president.
Oprah's a national treasure.
Yes, president. No, I'm serious. Other than some women I know. But, ladies and gentlemen, anyway... big slam. People are bombing people. Oh, Hillary joke. Relax, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Anyway.
I think Hillary will make an excellent senator. Look at her record.
It's right there in the record. I used to love those movies from the 30s where the guy goes, there's your story. They hit the paper about 400 times.
Anyway, so you're coming back in the fall. You got a brand new show.
I'm thrilled.
Now, the thing, one of the things, and don't take this the wrong way, I've always been doubly fascinated by your life on the continent.
Oh, yes.
Why France? What was the interest there?
My wife visited some friends there and fell in love with the area. And prior to that, I actually wanted to get a house in like Malibu or Big Sur or Hawaii. I wasn't thinking France, because you got to hide in the basement. So. Pack your belongings, but anyway.
Somebody knocks on your furniture and you got to run to the cellar. What is? I don't understand.
The enemy of wit.
See.
I'm sorry. I'm using a chair as a door. It's like improv class. At any rate, many years ago, you remember I had a talk show for a while, Hot Properties.
Yeah, I was on Showtime or something, or
I was on Lifetime.
Lifetime.
The Women's Network. Anyway, so I had Hulk Hogan on as a guest.
Right. He's a wrestler,
yes, the steroid-laden fascist thug. He was on my show. And Mr. T was on also before, and I was interviewing. This is at the height of WrestleMania, and for some reason I was mad enough to say, let's have a little demonstration.
A little demonstration. That's the nature of talk shows. Let's see what you can do.
Right, exactly. Right. So he put me in a headlock, a sleeper hold, which I looked up in the dictionary. It says it's the Jew killer hold, also known as. So he's squeezing my in the dictionary. He's got me in this hold. He cuts off my carotid artery, remember him?
Yep.
And cuts off the water, the blood to the brain.
Lights out.
I go unconscious, and he drops me into the floor.
I remember that.
I smashed my head 9 stitches.
Right.
For some reason, I jumped up and said, we'll be right back after this. I don't know.
They took you to the hospital.
Show business in my blood on the stage. Took me to the hospital.
Did you ever talk to him afterward?
No, he never apologized. I sued him.
Yeah.
He settled out of court, and now I have a house in France.
The American way.
The American way. A litigious society. Is this mine or yours?
Well, of course it's yours, Richard.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry.
You haven't been here in a while. You wouldn't know. That's your
this
beverage.
Is mine?
Complimentary
Can I keep
beverage.
the mug?
So what is your life like in France?
Well, it's great because, people say, what do you do there? The French have a great attitude about life. They take 2 hours for lunch. Everything closes down. And they have a 5-course meal. And they drink during the meal. Mm-hmm. So it's like no matter what job you have in France, when you get up in the morning, you know you're going to get really faced at lunch, have a great time, and go back to work. So what's wrong with that?
Do you love it there?
I do. I really do. There's no stress. Nobody recognizes me.
Have they embraced you as an American? Do they feel comfortable with you as an American?
Well, luckily my wife is incredible. She speaks French great. I speak restaurant French.
Right.
I can say encore du vin, more wine, more bread, give me the check,
right,
and order things. But my wife is very, very good, and they love her there. They call her the Queen of Bozul, and
Bazool is the name of your...
B-O-Z-O-U-L-S.
Bazool.
Bozo, U-L-S.
How do you say
Bozool.
it? Bozool.
Yeah, it's a euphemism for beef. It's like...
Well, that used to be Rodney Dangerfield's doctor, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that was
Vinny Bazool.
Boombatz.
Oh, Boombatz.
Dr. Vinny Boombatz. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You have a house in Boombatz,
Yeah,
right?
Dr. Vinny Boombatz.
Oh, I'm glad we cleared that up.
Paul has a
Bazool.
house. I saw Paul in France.
You and he rendezvoused in... hey, speaking of France, a rendezvous.
Rendezvous? There you go. You speak more than I do.
All right. Well, it's good to see you again.
Great.
You haven't been on the show for like 9 years or something.
Since you've been in the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Good to have you back. Or
Great to
good to
see
have you
you.
here. This is the book. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to chat about the book.
It's doing very well.
You want people to buy in the book and enjoy?
Yeah.
Is it a funny book? Is it
It's
serious?
very funny, but there's real information in there. That's why I make it funny so it wouldn't scare you too much.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, I'm not all that scared.
No, I mean the editorial you, not necessarily.
Well, I appreciate anything. Richard Belzer, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Richard, good to see you. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Our next guest stars on the very popular television series Law & Order Special Victims Unit. Please welcome Richard Belzer. Belzer, ladies and gentlemen.
Got to dance to keep from crying.
That, of course, was John Lennon.
Yes.
No.
Here we are in the Ed Sullivan Theater.
I know your impersonation of Mick Jagger very well because I have known you for years. As a matter of fact, you were one of the first guys I met when I first came to New York in 1974.
From up north?
Yes, we've known each other 35 years.
Never had a feud.
Never had a feud.
Never had a
We're
feud.
very, very proud of that.
Never had an argument.
Whatever that means. Not even so much as an argument.
Never the same chick. It's
but hey.
Thing with the whole.
But I bring that up because America knows you as a legitimate actor, dramatic actor.
Thank you,
Law
America.
and Order.
Thank you
Special
so much.
Victims Unit. You're terrific on that.
No. Milton Berle, 1905.
Yeah.
But I've always...
And you were a terrific actor, but a lot of people don't know that you were a stand-up comic, and I've known you for years as a stand-up comic. Well,
how many people did... Can we take a survey?
Sure, take a survey.
How many people knew I was...
No, don't take a survey. Listen,
Never mind, forget
we don't have time. We don't have time for surveys.
No, but what's great to be in the Ed Sullivan Theater, where all the great comics that I admired worked out. And see.
Sure.
Right here on our show, before I bring out Topo Gigio, 4 people remember Sullivan. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, I've always said...
It's a new audience.
It's a new audience.
Anyway, you have been doing, but I know the Mick Jagger impersonation because I played the act. You know, we've been friends yet. I've played the act. And I remember the cue for the act was Mick Jagger. It just said on the corner of the music, "Rooster on acid," and I didn't understand what that meant.
Well,
you would always open it up.
Well, Mick Jagger looks like a rooster on acid raised by a black family.
Right.
I'm not slamming roosters.
No, but when you... No, you never did. You
Not
didn't
a slam against the rooster.
You never would. You never would. You're not that kind of guy.
No, I don't slam the rooster.
So when I would see Rooster on Acid, when I would hear you say that, I would go in to start me up.
Yes.
You still do a stand-up, though, right?
I'm going back on stage this weekend. Actually, this Saturday night at Caroline's, right here up the street on Broadway.
Yes.
Be appearing this
Saturday.
Night. Doing some research for the act. Found some stuff. You know, I like to study old bits and music, and I found that Elvis Presley, in my research, was actually bar mitzvahed. Did you know that Elvis Presley was?
I know that can't be true.
Yes. How many people know that Elvis's grandmother was Jewish? Raise your hand.
No, actually, I did. I read that. I read that. And the horn section. The horn section is aware of it. They always seem to. No, I read that too.
Yes.
One of his grandmother on one of the sides of the family.
And he had a ceremony where he was bar mitzvahed, and I managed to obtain a recording of that. And I'd like to I can't play it for you now for copyright reasons, but I can recreate it.
Oh, would you please do that?
I can certainly recreate it for you right
please.
now. Elvis Presley's bar mitzvah.
Elvis Presley's bar mitzvah.
Elvis Presley's bar mitzvah.
Elvis Presley's bar mitzvah. Go ahead.
Robbie Condor, ladies and gentlemen. Which camera? Oh, I'm an actor now. I don't do that. You have one camera.
This on? Yeah.
Thank you.
Which camera is this on? Elvis Presley's bar mitzvah.
Thank you, Paul. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvosot. That's all I can do.
Okay. Elvis Presley's bar mitzvah.
That's it. I'm one of the few comics that does research. I research my act, Paul.
But now you are a dramatic actor, Law and Order, Special Victims Unit.
Special Victims Unit, sex crimes.
Yeah, it deals with sex crimes, and you shoot it right in the streets of New York,
right? In Manhattan, where these sex crimes are actually committed day in and day out.
That's what I heard about this.
I actually wrote a lyric to the Special Victims Unit theme song. You know the Law and Order theme is dun 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 dun. If you sleep with a goat and tell your nephew, we'll arrest you. Working on it. It's not written.
Work in progress.
Okay?
It's going to be great. Yeah.
Take me to ad-lib prison, okay? Just lock me up in Sullivan's bathroom, right? I'm sorry.
Do you ever run into, like, when you're filming on the street, though,
yes.
Ever run into any problems, like run up against the locals, anything nutty happen in the street?
Actually, there's a wild, true story, as we say in the comedy world. True story.
Yeah, true story.
Anyway, so this is a true story. We're filming one day. We're in the street, and we have cop cars blocking off a street. Actors dressed as policemen. During the scene, a guy runs around the corner with a shopping bag. Someone had actually, it was a literal, pardon the term, shoplifter shopping bag.
Yeah.
Yes. Running around the corner, and he sees all these cops. And I'm there with my gun out, and I have a badge on. I'm just standing there. It's between scenes. And the guy drops the bag and throws his hands up, surrenders to me. To me. So I said, boy, have you got the wrong vampire? No, I said, boy, it's another joke, all right? Then he realized it was me. He recognized me, started laughing, and said some expletive. He didn't say it's cold in here. He said something much worse than that. Dropped his bag, and then a real cop came around the corner and tackled the guy and arrested him. And what he shoplifted, what was in the bag, was Polaroid film and Q-tips. The guy was going to go home and take pictures of himself cleaning his ears. I don't know why.
It must have been something.
Film and Q-tips.
So crazy things happen on the street.
Yeah, that was the question.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. Now, we were together just this last summer.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know it, but a lot of people know it because you talk about it all the time on every talk show. But we talk about it on this one, too.
All right.
You have a house in France.
I do have a house in France.
I visited you over there.
You did visit me.
Yeah, you've had it for how many years?
What time are you going to get here? No, I've had it for 15 years.
And
15 years.
Yet I understand you speak absolutely no French.
Well, I have this trick that I do. If you go to France, ladies and gentlemen, I live in this little village. Every day I go to the little cafe to get my coffee and read my paper, and there are people along the way, and I figure, you got to, make some attempt at communicating.
You should.
I'm not good at other languages. Yeah. English is my second language.
Yeah. But I
have no idea what that meant. Anyway, so I'm walking up the street to the little road there, and I see someone, and I have, this is the trick I do. I say, bonjour, and a French person says bonjour. They want civility. They want hello, good day, good day. And then, you got to talk, right? Because you're still walking by.
Got to follow that up with something.
So if the sun is out, I go, soleil. And they'll go, oh, soleil, mon cher. And they'll say for 5 minutes about the sun and the weather, and I go, the morning, see you tomorrow, and I go. So on the days where it's cloudy and there's no sun, I go up, I walk up the hill, I say, bonjour, and they say bonjour, and I go, soleil. And they'll go, oh, soleil, I swear to God it works.
Well, Richard, thank you for rushing over at the last minute to be my guest on the Late Show. Richard Belzer, Special Victims Unit. How about it? We'll be right back with Sarah McLachlan.
in the wilderness. And can't you see I'm lost?
Richard Belzer, ladies and gentlemen, the great Richard Belzer. Nice job, Richard. Law and Order Special Victims Unit, Richard Belzer.
Plays Detective Munch.
Nice job, Paul.
Our next guest is a talented actor and comedian who can be seen on the reality program Last Comic Standing. It airs Thursday night on another network. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Richard Belzer. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, I want to take a moment here
It's been a while.
yes, it has, sadly, but thank goodness you're here. And, but sadly again, tell us a little bit about your old friend George Carlin.
Yeah.
That was too bad, wasn't it? What a
It was
surprise.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still trying to get over Tim Russert.
Right.
And then George. The thing that, the first thing I thought of was George wanted it on his epitaph. He wanted it to say, geez, he was here just a minute ago.
That's nice. Good.
And talking about aging, he would say that well, the older you get, the more you read the Bible. It's like you're cramming for the finals. But the thing that we all loved about George, you and I started just around the same time, and on the Dumont Network in black and white. You were very nice to me, by the way, in those days. And George, from the beginning, I'm sure you experienced it too, incredibly supportive. Immediately, we all, of course, looked up to George and Lenny Bruce and Mort Saul, the triumvirate, Dick Gregory. These are the guys that defined, I think, the risk of being immodest, who you and I want to be, the edgy, irreverent, these are the guys that we try to be, if I'm not, going out of that.
Set the bar pretty high, these guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. And you've scaled it, and I'm climbing up the side.
No.
But I'm on medication, and you're not.
I'm still on the bench.
But
here's a guy, and you mentioned the other guys, but not only changed show business, but by changing show business, was able seriously to change culture. American culture is different because of George Carlin.
That's exactly right. George, Johnny Carson had this ability too. There's a few people that if they joked about something, then the culture could talk about it.
That's right.
Like Johnny would do the first anti-president, whoever the president was, Reagan, Nixon, whatever. When he did it, it was like we could breathe a sigh of relief. But George did that even more so because George would approach, as you know better than anyone, religion and human relationships and sexuality. But my thing that I just revere about him, among many things, is his reverence for language, because I have a thing about the English language and the use of words. And he can, discourse on, he would have used that word better than I just did, for instance. But he could really expound upon any element of language. And like he used to say, his mother was good at that. He said his mother would say things like, I'm going to peruse the newspaper. And he would notice a thing like that and remember that. So, and plus he was incredibly supportive of me personally. When I was starting out, we started out in the 70s. You were in L.A., I was in New York. You were the Goyish Belzer, and I was the Jewish Letterman. And
you want to switch?
Yeah. Let me call my wife. But ladies and gentlemen,
Run it by your wife.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Honey, can I borrow someone else? Yes, dear, but be home by 7. Make sure you bring home the dreidels and the onion.
Yes.
All right, but no, and I had a bit of a reputation in New York for being reverent and unpredictable and drug-laden and
outlaw. You were an outlaw.
Waitress. Mob hanging out with... What? I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
No.
Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
I had a bit of a reputation.
Edgy. Be careful.
Edgy.
He's an outlaw. Look out.
Exactly. And I don't regret 1 second of it. But there was an article about me in Rolling Stone magazine, and it said, if he's so funny, how come he's not rich? Or so, that was something like that.
Article. I mean, it was a big cover story, for God's sake.
Well, no, Keith was... You're too kind. No, it wasn't a cover, but I'll take that.
Oh, okay.
But it was a big piece.
Yeah.
Annie Leibovitz took my picture, and it's and it had all these famous friends. I think you gave a comment. Belzer's this, Belzer's that, and then there was Fred de Cordova, Lazem Gain, Oliver Shullum. He was who passed away. He was the guy who produced the Tonight Show, as you know. And he said Richard Belzer will never be on this show. It's like, Johnny Fontaine does not get that picture. But it was like, Richard Belzer will not be on The Tonight Show. He's just too unpredictable. He's dirty, whatever. And so George, in those days, George was hosting. I think it was 80, 81, something like that. And they asked George, who do you want to have on the show? He said, I want Richard Belzer. He said, wait a minute, you could have Burt Reynolds, you could have, whoever, Miss Universe, Miss Dreidel, 1904, whoever.
1904?
Yeah, I don't know where I went with that.
She was damn good.
Yeah, she was. She's still alive. Anyway, Gimmel. Anyway, so he insisted that I do the show. And I heard about this later, not just from him, but he fought. They said, no. He said, I want Richard. So I did the show.
Well, just let me interrupt. Right there, even without the great mind, the comedic genius, and he was so prolific.
Right.
Even without those things, what you just described there makes him a great man. The fact that he would go to bat for a guy who may have needed a little boost then.
I know, and how many people at that level do that? Right. Not many.
And the amount of material, new material that he could generate and commit to, like a CD or to like an HBO special.
It's intimidating.
It would make you break out in a sweat.
It's just astounding.
Yeah.
I happen to have here. Remember George would come on your show, or Johnny or whatever, and he put his notes down.
Right.
I mean, he's the only guy that can get away with that.
Sure.
And now I'll take that mantle.
All right.
I mean, look, I just brought for you the albums. Look at these albums.
How many did he have? He had like 20, nearly 20 comedy
How many albums, ladies and gentlemen?
Something like 20.
Staff.
Yeah.
You're fired, Bill Sheff. Kiss my Wikipedia.
Now, wait a minute.
And suck
You can't come in here and fire my staff for the love of...
he's standing there sucking a cigar with new sneakers on. He doesn't know how many albums, George.
I think
70. Thank you, Bill.
How many? No, I think it's closer to 20.
33? How many? Yeah. Come on.
26. There you
26.
go. All right.
But who's counting?
When you get to 40, sell.
Yeah.
Richard, I have here also, this is something else that I know is near and dear to your heart, and it's about the North Shore Animal League, I believe, and saving pets, dogs and cats. And you are obviously the poster boy for a promotion that they're running now. You have a dog of your own that you're inseparable with. Let's see the dog. Where's Richard's dog?
Bebe, and Bebe's in the green room.
There we go. There's the dog. Okay.
Now, we have a second here.
Yeah. What kind of dog is that?
Poodle Fox Terrier.
Poodle Fox Terrier.
Bebe. The dog, and I can prove this. This is live, right, Dave?
Yes.
Okay. The dog, I can do telepathically tricks with the dog.
Okay.
All right. Now,
what can you do with a gallon of gas?
Right. I don't know why that was funny.
I don't either.
But it worked.
I just got here. Yeah, I know. Sure,
we
exactly.
go there without a parachute.
All right, let's see. Something telepathic here with the dog.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Camera on the dog. Or if you could do a split screen.
There we go. Split screen. Yes.
All right. Here's. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Bebe, be cute.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Richard Belzer.
Come on, Dad.
Last comic standing Thursday night over there on NBC. Great to see you. Thank you very much. I enjoyed talking to you about George. Thank you. We'll be right back with Motley Crue, everybody.